Domino's.com.
The grain markets all trading lower. This is Hoosier Ag Today. I'm CJ Miller with your Friday midday farm market update. Well, after a boost yesterday in corn, beans, and wheat, they're now all going the other direction today. May corn down 13 1/4 at 741 1/4. July at 708 down 10 3/4, and December corn is 4 lower at 641. May beans down 15 at 1653 1/2. July at 1635 12 1/4 lower.
LLC or the sponsors. The Liquor Vault on-air line is now open for your calls or texts at 219-362-0522. This is Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle.
Welcome, friends. It's Friday, March 18th, and you are listening to Sound Off, and my name is Nate Laux, and you're not. So I'm glad to have you today. Today's my daughter's birthday, so happy birthday to Nora. She's 14 years old. If you've got a birthday today, happy birthday to you as well. I'm just glad to have you on the show. The weather's getting nicer. We're getting closer to May's primary. We've got some exciting races locally. Again, head to hometownnewsnow.com. You can get all the data and all the information. We're collecting more and more for the candidates for that. You know, on the show, we're hoping to introduce you to as many candidates as we can because we want, again, for you to know who you're voting for. Sure, some people are straight ticket voters, but many of us are voting for the people we believe are the best qualified or that we think have the best character, these kind of things. And so it's important to introduce you to those candidates so you can make that decision for yourself. So today, or on Monday, we had Sean Fagan, who's a Republican candidate for prosecuting attorney. Today on the show, we have the Democratic candidate for prosecuting attorney, John Lake. John, how are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing great. Good afternoon. Thank
you. Good to have you. So usually you are in the studio, but today you're not. You are visiting somewhere else, right? Are you in Minnesota or something?
Actually, I am in Milwaukee. My godson he splits time as the start for the point guard for Virginia Tech. So as soon as I finish this show, I'm going to go head over to the stadium and watch the rest of the Purdue game and then watch the Virginia Tech game and cheer my godson on.
Oh, good for you. Did you teach him most of the things he knows about basketball?
No, I used to be able to beat him when he's like 7 or 8.
Well, good to have you on the show. Now, typically when we have you, we kind of talk about what's happening with the law, and we'll certainly do some of that. But today is a Candidate Lake show, obviously. We had the Republican candidate for prosecuting attorney on the show on Monday. And I really enjoy these kind of shows because, again, it gets to know the candidates. Now, you and Sean Fagan both have a gift, kind of. You don't really have an election until the November actual general election. You don't have a primary candidate, nor does he. But you guys have a fairly, important race, so we want to make sure we spend enough time getting to know both of you so our listeners can learn a little bit about you. Now, you are the incumbent. Yes. 4 years ago, you ran and you won. When someone asks, what in the last 4 years, I voted for you 4 years ago or something, what have you done in order to make this position better, in order to make LaPorte County better? What do you tell them?
Well, first of all, it starts with leadership. One of the things, and experience. I had 25 years of experience as a deputy prosecutor and as a deputy attorney general, prosecuting cases. And prior to that, I had 3 years of doing defense work at Newby, Lewis, Kaminsky, and Jones there in LaPorte. And then, I left. I was offered the job as a deputy prosecutor and came on. And one of the most important things is knowing what prosecution is about. My opponent has zero experience in criminal law. He may have done one case, I think I saw, but has no jury trials to my knowledge. I've done the research on it. Whereas, I had, between civil and criminal, I've tried over 50 jury trials. I've tried over 100 bench trials. I don't count small claim stuff in that at all. And the job of prosecutor was first of all, to hire people that you know can do the job, and being able to understand what kind of deputies you want. You do not want a win at all cost prosecutor, in my opinion. That's someone who will, make the decision that this person's guilty and ignore some of the evidence. They just want to win. And that's not your role as prosecutor. Prosecutor is to do justice. So whenever you hear somebody saying, oh, I've won every case, or I won all that, I always kind of question it. And you can be very successful. I was successful. I didn't lose a jury trial between 95 to 2000. I think 20 was the first time I had a not guilty in a case, and that's fine. You always accept what a jury does, but it's also, you want to be able. One of the things I really want to do was make sure that victims had their day in court, and that it was on every case, that justice is done on every case, for every victim, and that they have a voice. And we've done that, and you'll see that my opponent wants to say that I've caused crime to rise. And that's not true. What we've done is we've backed up the police. And I told the police when I ran on this was that we will file the cases you bring to us that have probable cause. We're not going to make decisions based on who that person is, what their connections are, whether they're a Republican or Democrat. We're going to look at the facts of the case. And if a person has committed a crime, we're going to file those. And I think I've stood by what I said I was going to do. And the numbers have shown that. Not only did I say that, I said I was going to hire competent trial counsel and be able to. One thing is, you have to know where you're going in order to lead. And you don't want to be out there kind of like 40 years in the desert, wandering around looking for your place because you don't have a direction. So in a jury trial, you want somebody. I talk to my deputies on a daily or weekly basis regarding their trials and what ideas and how we would handle things, because I've done so many, and we bounce ideas off each other. We'll go through cases and we'll give that give and take, but you have to have the experience to be able to do that. And one of the most important things is that the proof is in the pudding. You look back, and we had the caller last time I was on the show, and I said I'd look into this, is that one caller is criticizing us for this one plea on one case, and that, when am I going to hold child molesters accountable? Well, we have. And look at the facts. Timothy Hale, he was convicted of child molesting, 30-year sentence. Kelly Cannon, child molesting, 39-year sentence. Dennis Rank was rape and burglary, sentenced to 10 years. Joshua Morgan, child molesting, 36 years. Carl Smith, child molesting, 46 years. Gerald Yaw, child molesting, 60 years. William Hoagland, another child molesting case, 36 years. Gavilan Love, another child molesting case, 38 years. And then Dylan Lopez, another child molesting case, 30 years. That's just with one of my deputies. And that was the deputy that handled that plea that he was complaining, that caller was complaining about in the last show. That deputy has the experience to know. And so we've handled a lot and this is just one deputy in my office, or I don't want to, I'd be here for an hour going through every case, but I just want to tell you that we are holding people accountable. We're doing the job. And that's just on the criminal side. Now, you also have the child fatality review stuff that I've done, the sexual assault response team that we've done with my APS unit that I've done, getting the high-tech crime unit, joining that for all the law enforcement agencies. So there's a lot there that we have done to support and facilitate better investigations and help the police.
Now, an article came out recently about some of the statistics for crime that's happening, and the overall crime was up 0.1%, which is a very small, and I don't want to say insignificant, because anytime crime raises, it's a significant thing, but it's a pretty small increase. But the calls to service were down, so that was, you see a small increase, but a less amount or fewer amount of calls. And some troubling things. There's drug crimes are up 11%. Gun crimes, according to the article, are up 23%. Traffic accidents up 13%. So as a prosecutor, as you hear these statistics, and I'm sure the police are dealing with them as well, how could you impact this to make it a safer community? But also, is this something a prosecutor can really address? How do you make sense of that?
Well, I mean, the one thing is, if the cases, like, let's say crime, one of the reasons I ran was that crime was up, but the number of cases being filed, crime had gone up like 20%, but cases being filed had gone down 25%. Mm-hmm. And I said we're gonna, in order to be impactful as a prosecutor, you have to back up the police and work with them and file the charges. Now, I can't stop crime. I can only hold people, from happening, and you'll see it across the nation. I mean, it's not just in our community. If it was in our community, then you'd have an issue. This is not a situation where it's like LA, where I'm saying I'm not going to prosecute cases, or New York or Chicago. We are filing all these cases, and you'll look at the numbers. Our numbers are consistent. We're up 20% over the, except for 2020, when we filed the same number of cases in 2020 during the pandemic. That had been filed, like we matched the highest level of the prior administration. In 2019 and 2021, our numbers are 20% up on that. So we are filing the cases, and that equates to 600 to 800 cases more per year. So when somebody commits a crime, we're not looking the other way. We're not saying, we're not going to charge that. We're charging those cases to hold them accountable to try and impact that. And I think you see some of that in the major felonies categories of violent crimes. The sheriff came out with theirs that violent crimes are down because we're holding those people accountable and sending them off to prison. Obviously, my job is proactive. It's not proactive, it's reactive. Trying to be proactive is as much as I can is getting the information out there and supporting the police and giving them the programs and the all of the different investigative tools, sending them to training. We pay for a lot of training. We send officers off to get them that so that they can solve these crimes, and then we can then prosecute them properly.
All right, we've got prosecuting attorney John Lake on the show, and we're talking to him about his campaign coming up. Monday's show, we had his opponent, Sean Fagan. If you have a question, you're welcome to call the Liquor Vault on-air line at 219-362-0522 or shoot me an email at soundoff@967theeagle.com. I'd be happy to ask the question for you if you'd like. But again, that number is 219-362-0522. We're going to take a quick break, get back to any calls we might have, and talk a little bit more about the campaign of John Lake coming up. So keep listening to 96.7 The Eagle.
Ben Conowitz here, LaPorte Seamless Gutter, 219-362-9972. Fall is here, and that means leaves and debris for your gutter system. We've got 3 separate types of gutter guard for your home. Leaves and debris come in all shapes and sizes. We don't need a one-size-fits-all for your gutter. Give us a call today for a free estimate at 219-362-9972, or you can visit us on the web, www.lpseamless.com.
Buying a new vehicle is a big decision. I don't want to feel forgotten the minute I leave the dealership. But at Michigan City Hyundai, they put people first, making my entire buying experience better. I browsed online and went in store to look at the new 2022 Tucson. Finally, I purchased with everything I needed and left confidently.
Get even more coverage with Hyundai Assurance and America's best 10-year or 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Visit MichiganCityHyundai.com.
You don't like buying a car this way.
Hi, I'm JT. I did a really good job of hiding my addiction to pain pills from my friends and family. Most of them never knew. On the outside, I was doing just fine. But on the inside, I knew I needed help. It's not easy to ask for help when you're used to doing it on your own, keeping it locked away somewhere no one will find. But I found groups recover together through a radio ad like this one. I have my own recovery team, and they want me to succeed. They help with medication, group therapy, and more. It's helpful being around other people who know what I'm going through. All it takes is 1 hour per week. Short and sweet, but it helps me. I share my story because I know there's someone else out there who needs to hear it. Learn more about members like me at joingroups.com/radio or give groups a call 24/7 at 463-777-9475. That's 463-777-9475.
Join 96.7 The Eagle every Sunday morning from 9 to 9:30 a.m. for Bethany Church's Sound Up. Enlighten your Sunday morning with inspirational words of faith from Pastor Dennis Meyer. Bethany Church's Sound Up every Sunday morning from 9 to 9:30 a.m. on 96.7 The Eagle.
Red Hot buys are going on all month long at your local Cable and Ace Hardware. Ego, the #1 brand in outdoor cordless power, is at your local Cable and Ace Hardware. Mow like a pro this season with the cordless technology of Ego. The Red Hot buys don't stop there. Buy one, get one free on gallons of Clark and Kensington or Royal Interior and Exterior paint. Don't miss important news and offers. Download the Cable and Ace Hardware app today and save. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their paint.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Here's another job opportunity from HometownNewsNow.com.
The LaPorte City Fire Department is accepting applications for firefighter employment with salary starting at $50,000 per year. Must be between 21 and 36 years of age and a high school graduate. Apply at the city website or in person at Fire Station number 1, 809 West 18th Street. Applications must be postmarked by April 8th, so don't wait. Browse to thecityoflaporte.com/department/fire.
This has been a Jobs Spotlight Extra. Look under Hot Topics at HometownNewsNow.com for job details.
Let's look at the forecast at 96.7 The Eagle, brought to you by the Pink Sheep Children's Boutique.
The charming and affordable Pink Sheep Children's Boutique has so many fun themes and styles for boys, girls, and moms. Come see for yourself. The Pink Sheep Children's Boutique, 604 Lincoln Way in downtown LaPorte.
Michiana weather.
High at 57 this afternoon under cloudy skies with scattered rain showers likely. East winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Cloudy tonight, scattered rain showers likely 39. From the Weather Center at HometownNewsNow.com. Right now 55.
Your opinion matters. We invite you to share it by calling or texting the Liquor Vault on-air line at 362-0522. That's 362-0522. Now, back to Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle.
Welcome back, friends. You're listening to Sound Off. My name is Nate Laux. Glad to have you with us on the show today. We've got John Lake, LaPorte County Prosecuting Attorney. On Monday's show, we had Sean Fagan, his opponent this November, the Republican candidate, and John is running as the Democratic candidate for re-election as a LaPorte County Prosecuting Attorney. If you have a question for Prosecuting Attorney Lake, you're welcome to call the Liquor Vault on-air line at 219-362-0522. I'd be happy to put you through. Or you can email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com as well. Let's get to another caller. Hey, welcome to the show. Glad to have you. What's your question for Prosecuting Attorney Lake?
Thank you, sir, for coming on and answering our questions. First of all, I'd like to say, contrary to what your opponent and the caller last time said, I think you're doing an outstanding job. And I'd like a couple signs if possible. And my questions are, what are your plans in 2022 as far as taking your office to the next level or whatever? I mean, there's a lot of you've talked before about deadbeat parents, the child services need help. What are your plans in 2022 to go up, or 2023, I guess it would be, to take to the next step? Thank you.
Thanks. Good question.
And thank you for the support. That's part of there's a lot of things that I'm in the process of trying to do. One of the major things is getting a soft interview room installed. I just got the funding for that back in November, but I've been so busy doing that. One major thing that we just did, which is the first time in 25 years, we impaneled a grand jury. So we're going to be addressing some of these issues and claims of corruption in government. I'm disturbed that people keep claiming this stuff, but no one wants. Then they say they have evidence. They don't want to bring it to me. So we're going to move forward on that and take a deep dive to see if there's anything there, and we'll proceed with proper charges if the jury decides that. And other things that we're going to do is obviously continue to get my staff training, as we always do. Continue to look at other programs. This high-tech crimes unit was something that the state just put in. If you don't know, they set up 10 of these across the state of Indiana in groups, and we're with the Notre Dame, St. Joe County cyber crimes. And what they do is that they're the ones who go in and extract digital evidence from phones, computers, any mobile device. And what they do is they then analyze it for you to assist our law enforcement officers, because normally the state police has got a backlog. And, so we just had one phone that we had sent there on a murder case back in August, and we just got it back last month. So there's a big backlog in getting the extractions done, but then you have to then go in and analyze that data, and it's really complicated. It takes a lot of time, and in the middle of an investigation, whether it be a murder case or something that some other major felony, it takes time away from the detective. So we're trying to facilitate that to help them. I try and support what I'm working on right now with Michigan City, and I've talked to some of the council members for this gun violence, is trying to get cameras at street corners, trying to use the ARP money, and try and work with their commission to work on gun violence. So Mary does a lot of the juvenile outreach. We have the first mental health court, which is a wellness court for juveniles in our county. It's the first one in the state of Indiana that we were instrumental. We wanted to do a mental health court here, and Judge Alvizas wanted to do one for juveniles, so we joined with him. I can't start one on my own. I need a judge to do it. We're looking hopefully to expand that to because mental health is a big issue. Addiction is a big issue. And so, getting these treatments in our county through ARP money and getting these courts up and running, we're hoping to do that. Community corrections, I'm the chairman of that board. So I'm wearing a lot of hats lately, and I'm trying to do a lot of different things, but we're trying to get community corrections up in fully capacity, in full capacity, so we can utilize that instead of the jail to, deal with some of the overcrowding. I think the new level 6 felonies, being able to have them be served in the DOC is an important step. When they did that back in 2014, they never really funded to help us with alternative programs for mental health and things of that nature. So I appreciate the question, and I could go on, but I want to give somebody else a chance to ask me a question.
All right, let's get to another caller. We got John Lake on the show. Thanks so much for calling. We've got John Lake on the show. What's your question for him?
Hey, Nate, I just want to apologize if I was a little snippy last weekend, but thanks for letting us get our questions through. And our duly elected prosecutor, John Lake, thank you. There's some great areas you serve in, and there's some areas that always need improving, like everything in our lives. Most importantly, what I wanted to share was the up on the boulevard and throughout 11th Street, where you had a lot of barbecues when you were campaigning. Are you coming back with the barbecues, and are you going to be bringing some sow's ear, pig's feet, some of that good old grist? How big was your budget expanded in the last couple of years? So, okay, standing up and up, buddy. Talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.
First of all, yeah, I will get out in the community, and we'll probably have a barbecue or two. So if you'd like to join us, that's always welcome. I've been so busy that my campaign really is not off the ground. We do a few things here and there, but we're extremely busy. But we'll get those things out. As far as the budget, we have actually, one of the first things I did when I came in was I disbanded the ICAC unit, and one of the major reasons was that that was coming off at the end of its grant cycle. So that in 2021 or 2020, I believe, we were going to have to fund that fully through county funds, and it was going to cost $200,000 a year to keep that running. So that's why I went with this high tech crimes unit and explored that option in 2019 and started using the St. Joe cyber crimes unit. They allowed us to start bringing phones over there back then, and the reason why was I wanted to save the county money. Because when you have to replace that equipment, that ICAC equipment, it's expensive. To get that up and running, they spent $200,000-$400,000 to run it, and then they had personnel costs of 4 employees. So it's able to lower. I have not asked for any more money in my budget. I'm still operating on the same budget that I had in 2019, other than the step increases that the county gives to my employees, my staff. So I've actually was able, through my own moving money around in my budget, to get rid of the gender gap pay. There was a difference in pay that men and women were getting for the same positions and felony positions, and I ended that. That was one of the most important things that I wanted to do. Was I don't care if you're a man or a woman, you deserve equal pay, and for the job that you're doing. So those are just some of the things that we've addressed here in the last 3 years.
All right, we've got prosecuting attorney John Lake on the show. The Liquor Ball on-air line is 219-362-0522, or you can email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com. I'd be happy to ask the question for you. Here's a question for you, John Lake. Came through our email line. What are your thoughts on the local income tax?
Oh, you're talking about the
I assume, the public safety lit tax. Yep.
I think obviously that's up to the politicians to decide. I'm in favor. Here's the issue. We need to have some sort of funding source that we can be competitive for our EMS, our EMTs, our firefighters, your police. You need something that's going to because what I see in the last 3 years, there's been a lot of experienced police officers, and that's what I deal mainly with. And I've seen them leave to go to other departments. And what we're doing, and I was talking to Gene Simmons last weekend, former chief of MCPD and on the council, about some of these different issues for funding and that. And he, basically he just made the comment to me, and we both had the same point of view, which is we are hiring these people, we're training them, and then they're getting hired away. And so we're basically like the minor leagues for the major leagues, and we're just sending all our best candidates on after they get the experience, and they go out as free agents. And I'd really like to see, and it's something that I see that my pay for my staff, because I haven't asked for any more money for I have one of the best staffs, and you can see it from the trial results that I have for my staff, that we're falling behind other counties. And if there's a change in leadership and someone, they can go pretty much. I have a former elected prosecutor on my staff, was a Republican from Stark County. She works for me. I have other Republicans on my staff who were chief deputies. And I have like 4 or 5 former chief deputies on my staff, and they can go work anywhere in the state. They have the experience and the talent to do that for better pay. And, it's going to get to a point here where if we change, roles, and I'm not in this position, I think you're going to see those people go to work for somebody that's experienced, who can answer their questions. And I think that's one of the biggest, I think this, the sheriff's race is a very important race. All the races are important, but for the quality of life and as far as the criminal justice system, I'm just telling people, you really need to look at the prosecutor's role and what happens in this case, because if this becomes a political position, and I'm not a politician, I'm a prosecutor. And if this becomes a political football position where people are going to try and settle scores or whatever, that's not what this role is. This should be at all. It should only be if a crime has occurred and you have probable cause and you proceed from there. But if it goes the other way, you're going to see some changes in our office that I think that people will not be happy with.
All right, we've got prosecuting attorney John Lake on the show today. We're going to take our final break of the day and get right back here in a couple minutes, only on 96.7 The Eagle.
Car problems often strike at the absolute worst times, but you can rest well knowing that Cannon's Automotive Service is here for you and dedicated to get you back on the road with prompt, efficient, same-day service. The same Cannon's commitment that LaPorte has trusted for over 50 years. Cannon's Automotive Service, now with 2 locations, 710 Tyler Street and 909 Boyd Boulevard.
With Cannon's Automotive, we fix everything.
Vote Fagan 2022. Who is Sean Fagan? He's a lawyer. He's a Republican. Sean Fagan, running for LaPorte County Prosecutor 2022. Sean Fagan knows that LaPorte County is a great place to live, and he wants to keep it that way. Sean Fagan for LaPorte County Prosecutor 2022. Be safe. Be strong. Let's work together. Vote Sean Fagan 2022. This message paid for by Fagan for Prosecutor.
With new models and even newer deals, it's time to car shop someplace different. And that place is Michigan City Kia. Come check out our new 2022 Kia lineup, including sedans, SUVs, crossovers, hybrids, and electric models. From gas sippers to family haulers and everything in between, there's a Kia vehicle to fit every budget and lifestyle. Come in for a test drive and check out Michigan City Kia today. Or visit MichiganCityKia.com, now part of the Bob LaCurcio Auto Group.
You don't like buying a car this way.
It's the grand opening of Cricket Wireless in LaPorte, and they're celebrating by giving you unbelievable deals. Get a free Android device, or for you Apple fans, iPhone SE only $49 or an iPhone 11 just $99. And for a limited time, you'll receive a $50 account credit, all when you switch to Cricket Wireless. And if that's not enough, how about a subscription to HBO Max, 5G service, and 15 gig mobile hotspot when you sign up for Cricket's $60 unlimited plan? It's happening now at the new Cricket Wireless, Pine Lake Avenue in LaPorte's Pine Lake Plaza.
Good news, Surf Fiber Internet is growing in LaPorte. Get 1 gig speed with a free whole home Wi-Fi router for only $65 a month. There's no hidden fees, no contracts, and free installation. They are building out more neighborhoods every day. So visit surffiber.com to check your address for service or call 844-955-SURF for more details. That's 844-955-SURF. This is a limited time offer. Speeds may vary and some restrictions apply.
Tech Credit Union makes home loans easy. Their experienced loan officers can help you buy your first home, make your next move, or simply refinance your current mortgage. They can also help you unlock your home's equity to get the cash you need for any purpose. Let Tech Credit Union show you why they are the better option for a home loan. To learn more, visit techcu.org or contact the LaPorte branch at 219-266-3100. That's 219-266-3100. Tech Credit Union is equal housing lender and federally insured by the NCUA.
Hey, who's hungry? Because I've got a deal for you. Dennis Siddell here to introduce you something new to the Morning Mayhem. Every weekday at 6:55, it's Denny's Diner. Yep, Joe and I will cook up some trivia questions, and if you have the correct answer, you'll be the winner of a $20 gift card from either JJ's Sideout Bar and Grill, the Burger Barn Grill, JJ's Pizza Shack, Wanna Pizza, or Nowhere Barn Grill. So join us weekdays for Denny's Diner at 6:55 on the Morning Mayhem for your chance to win here on 96.7 The Eagle.
Thank you for tuning in to Sound Off. You can now text or email your questions directly to the studio. Call or text 362-0522 or email your questions to soundoff@967theeagle.com. This is Sound Off.
Welcome back to the final segment of Sound Off for the day. Hey, on Monday we have, I think on the show, I should have probably checked this before I told you, but I think on the show on that day will be the Republican Party chair, Alan Stevens. I did invite him back, and we had a little bit of a calendar issue, but he's coming back. And we've got the sheriff candidates coming up that we're going to book, all these kind of things coming up to introduce you to some of the people that are going to be on your ballot this May in your primary. So we've got John Lake here on the show. If you have a question for prosecuting attorney John Lake, 219-362-0522, or email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com. So, John, one of the other questions we've received is there's a very controversial bill, and I don't know if the governor signed it or if he vetoed it yet, or if he's going to sign it. I don't know. But it divided a lot of law enforcement. It was about getting rid of permits for handguns in Indiana. So you would no longer, if you're 18 or above, no longer have to get a permit to legally carry a handgun in Indiana. Law enforcement, including our own sheriff, John Boyd, were against this. Where do you stand on this? Do you agree with a lot of law enforcement that says this very likely won't make it safer in our community, or do you think there, as some have said, some legislators, including our own our state rep and I think state senator Mike Bohachik and Jim Press have voted for it? They believe it's a good bill. Where do you stand on it?
I think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna make the community safer. Anytime you more people are carrying guns, it's not going to get safer. What I'm more concerned about, and I've been thinking about this, obviously, we have to have driver's licenses. You want to make sure that people who are driving cars understand how to use them. And what I'd like to see is just, if you're going to own a gun, I'm like I said, I'm in favor of the Second Amendment. My dad was a big gun collector, and I was taught gun safety by him. I was shooting guns at 4 or 5 years old. But I was taught the safety of that gun, how dangerous, that it was a deadly weapon. And we have a lot of people who, now don't. 18-year-old kids, 19-year-old kids, I see it every day. That's why we have gun violence. And is it going to keep a criminal, having a permit, can it keep it out of the hands of a criminal? No. But the point is that if you stop somebody, they don't have a permit, that was against the law. It was a misdemeanor, and you could then confiscate that gun. So you could keep that gun out of the hands of somebody who was not supposed to have it, even if they weren't a prior felon. Obviously, prior felons, people with mental health. But the thing that worries me is that last year, I was talking to Rodney Pohl about this, the state senator.
Yep.
Yeah, he just said that, and I saw it as well, that between 10,000 to 11,000 permit requests were denied because they had, they didn't pass the background checks or had mental health issues. And that's significant. So, I pray to God I'm wrong, that it doesn't make things more harmful. But I think in a lot of places like Tennessee, Memphis has in the inner cities. I'm not worried about people who are hunters and understand gun safety. That's not the issue. So I agree that with law enforcement, you're taking a tool out of their toolbox, and so now instead of having a screwdriver, you got to use a wrench. I mean, it's just one of those things that I think if we could prevent one, you want to talk about preventing crime. If we could prevent one more shooting from happening because a person has to have a permit, then I would be in favor of it. That's my take on it.
One of the things that your opponent on Monday talked about and insinuated was, it was implied that you're not the best at bringing together all the stakeholders involved in the case, that you're prosecuting things like this. I don't know if you listened to the show or not.
I heard it.
How do you respond to that accusation?
I think it's total BS. And you can. Here's the thing. You can be like a star chamber. You can accuse somebody and say you're not doing this, you're not doing that. I would just tell people, talk to the police. All I know is that not respecting police officers, on Monday afternoon after that show, we went to the FOP. He was there. I didn't know who he was. I walked into the LaPorte City Police Department, and there's this guy sitting there in sweatpants, no socks, a T-shirt, and he says, "You know who I am?" I'm like, "I have no idea." I'm thinking maybe he could be a defendant or he could be a victim. I have no idea who this guy is. He's sitting on a bench inside the police station. I walk in my suit, and it's my opponent, and so I shook his hand, and then I thought we were going to go down together, and the FOP would question us together. But all I know is that after he met with the FOP, and I then spoke to them, they sent me a encouragement that they're backing me. So I would just say, if you know police officers, you know any of these sheriff's candidates, put it to them. Who would you rather have be prosecutor come January 1st of next year? And I'll accept the answer. And if he has somebody who's saying that these things, have them come forward. Who is it? I'm not going to respond to some nebulous claim that I know is not correct. You talk to the people in my staff; they are so happy with me that I'm talking about. If he wins, it's going to be a mass exodus from that office, because people don't want to work for somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, doesn't have any experience, is not qualified. He may be eligible, might be an attorney, he lived here, but he's not even from here. He's only lived here for 5 years. He's from North Carolina. I don't know what his connection is. I don't know what his full background is. All I know is that he's a Republican and he's just trying to ride a red wave and get people to do that. But I do know some of the people who are supporting him, and I know some of the reasons why. So, yeah. I don't want to get into that right now. It's just not really relevant. But to me, in my campaign, is that I am what I am. He said something about overburdening the police, and I was asked this question on Tuesday on the radio. And I said, if I'm overburdening them because I'm requiring investigations to be done properly and follow constitutional rights, and we get search warrants properly, and we do things and we follow the Constitution, then that could be an overburdening, I guess. But to me, it's just holding them to make sure that our cases are never going to get reversed, and that we're doing it the right way on every case, for every victim, for every defendant, that you do it the right way. And I don't think any of the police officers that I know, because I asked somebody about that. I go, "Have I been disrespectful to you in any way?" And they're like, "What are you talking about? Like, this guy's ridiculous." They're asking me who this guy is, and I'm like, I don't know. He's never handled a criminal case, so I have no experience with him.
Unfortunately, we have some more callers, but we're not going to be able to get to you because we ran out of time. John, I'll give you the final word. How can people connect with you?
Well, for my campaign, they could contact Mary. Her number, is 219-448-1208. I don't want people contacting me about the campaign at my office. If they have some issue with the criminal justice system, they can obviously contact me at the prosecutor's office. And we'll be putting out other things. I'll be out and about with Mary. We'll be talking about stuff, but I really think people need to go and ask your stakeholders. Ask the people that are in the system, judges, defense counsel, other prosecutors. Ask my staff. I don't care. I go, I'm not telling them what to say. They have free reign, police officers, and see, who I think it's going to be a 99% in support of me.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show. We'll obviously get you and Sean back both before November. We'll have you back to talk about your campaigns and what's going on. I'm sure this will be a race to watch, and many of our listeners and voters are interested in following this going forward. Hey, I want to thank you so much for listening to the show. Again, we're going to continue to have these candidate episodes coming up to introduce you to who is going to be on your ballot, and who you can vote for, who you might not want to vote for, and hopefully you'll be a more informed voter when you go to the ballot box this May. And if that's what happens because of this, we've done our job well here on Sound Off, because that's our whole goal: entertain and inform. And we hope you're a little more informed about John Lake today and Sean Fagan on Monday. Hey, we're going to be back on Monday for another episode, another week of shows on Monday and Friday. Again, go to hometownnewsnow.com. Look at all the stuff there. You can listen to back episodes of Sound Off if you'd like to. But be good to yourself, be good to others, and keep listening to 96.7 The Eagle.
Thank you for joining us and voicing your opinion on this edition of Sound Off. The views on Sound Off are those of the host or callers and do not represent the opinion of 96.7 The Eagle, Spoon River Media LLC, or the sponsors. Sound Off airs every Monday and Friday at 12:30. Please mark your calendar and join us again for the next edition of Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle.